What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another video by yours truly. I wanted to share with you guys how I'm going to be building my Aventurine, the 5 billion IQ strat I'll be utilizing. I ran some numbers because he has one of those blade kits where you're sitting here asking yourself, did I rock a crit damage body or a defense body? Did I rock an imaginary orb or a defense orb? Should I rock a defensive boot or a speed boot? Like, he has one of them kits that actually prompted me to whip out the good old Gacha Smack math. It's been a while since we've done it, but I do understand the formulas profoundly, and I learned them specifically for situations like this. Anyways, I discovered some interesting results that I want to share with you guys, and they're going to make it a much easier choice for you as to regards to whether you need to do more grinding or use what you already have. And that's exactly why I want to share them with you. With that being said, after we do that, then we'll go over the main stats I'm going to be running, as well as the sub stats, and then the Lcone I'm going to be using on him. I'll have some substitutes as well in case you don't have it, rest assured. But let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so I'm going to try not to spend too much time making your head spin with a lot of these big old fancy numbers. First and foremost, you just need to know when he's level 80, he's going to have 654 defense. With Japar's Lcone, which is a part of this example, he'll have 595 in addition to that. His total base defense, once you put them together, is going to be 1,249. These are going to be all the multipliers that I'm going to be calculating in the example I'll be showing you. Now, we did not include his technique because one, it only lasts 3 turns, and that's just not a good generalization with regards to how much defense he's going to have. So we left the technique out, although it is listed. Substat wise, nobody's going to have, not nobody, a lot of people aren't going to have 40% defense built into their substats. Then again, as we know how the RNG for these goddamn Lcones and relics go, you probably do got 40. You might have more than that in the substats. You know what I mean? Anyways, for the most part, it would have been more accurate to put 20, but we already calculated it, so it is what it is. I will say, once you get to a certain defensive threshold, these percentages get severely diminished. So it's not a big deal. I promise you, not a big deal. The numbers guy, I do have some insight on that. Anyways, we did 2 different scenarios, 3 actually. We're just not showing them right here. We did how much defense he's going to have if you're not rocking a defense orb versus rocking a defense orb. 4,134 right here. That means he's rocking a defensive or boot and a damage sphere with a crit damage body. This one, he's rocking a defensive boot with a defensive sphere and a crit damage body. And the last thing I want to mention is he's rocking an energy recharge rope. He's not rocking a defensive boot. Okay, so you could put more defense on top of this scenario I'm providing. The next important thing, this is going to be the math. This is going to be a scenario again with Japar's Lcone plus Ron May at E0 with her buffs supplied. What I'm saying is her skills activated and she's popped her ult. So he has a 25% all type res pin in this formula, and he has the 68% damage bonus she gives to the whole team. Why Ron May? Let's take a quick little break here before we go back. Ron May takes care of his biggest weakness. I've told this to you guys before. The formula or damage is going to be attack percent multiplier. In his case, it's defense percent multiplier, right? Defense percent multiplier times additive damage bonus box times crit damage box times defense box times elemental resistance box times did you break their shield box or not. That's the formula. And generally what it's going to be is a massive multiplier times a massive multiplier times a massive multiplier. The biggest weakness with Aventurine is he has virtually no damage bonus in his kit. He has like a little bit in his traces, and that's it. Nothing else in the entirety of his kit gives him a damage bonus. So putting Ron May, attaching Ron May to his hip is quite significant to him dealing damage, because otherwise the additive damage bonus multiplier is pretty much taken out of the equation, and he just gets scuffed for damage. Long story short, if you're maidenless, Aventurine's damage is going to suck, but it can be circumvented to a degree if you have a defensive shredder in placement of her, because he also has no defensive shred in his kit or the team comps he's going to be running, right? You're typically going to attach him to the hip of a Topaz, a Dr. Ratio, a Clara, and maybe you're going to pair them together with a Topaz or something of the sort. But you could do something like a Dr. Ratio with a Pella, a Ron May, and then an Aventurine. You could do something like that and it would work, and he would actually deal a lot more damage on that team thanks to the Pella and the Ron May. So these numbers aren't doing that. These numbers are taking into consideration that you're running him with Ron May and then Dr. Ratio Topaz. That's gonna be like the most popular composition. Ron May, Dr. Ratio Topaz, and then Aventurine. So that's the example we're using. Important context. Now, with that being said, I wasn't lying to y'all when I said this man's damage was mid. But what's the discrepancy between the damage percent orb versus a defense orb? Let's look at that. Basic attack, crit strike, damage percent orb, 17.5. Hey, defense percent orb, 16.9. Guys, that is very, very low discrepancy in damage, to the point where you might as well rock a defense percent orb. Just like that Blade scenario, in fact, even worse. Blade's crit damage body at least does noticeably more damage, to the point where you can make an argument that it's going to provide some value. Even though I like the HP percent for tankiness, you get more damage out of crit damage body, 5%, right? A little bit 5%, somewhere around there. This shit here, look how low the numbers are, period. So like, who cares if I'm doing 600 more damage? I might as well put a defense percent orb on them and be more comfortable, instead of sacrificing my defense so I can do 600 more damage. We look at the ultimate, same concept, 47.4 versus 45.7. You might as well slap a goddamn defense percent orb on them. You get what I'm trying to say there? And then finally, damage percent versus defense percent on the follow-up attack. It's going to be 4.4 times 7, because he does it 7 times. Spread across, if it's a bunch of people out there, then it's going to be like each freaking unit, which really is booty cheek damage. If it's a single target, it ain't nothing to brag home about, 28k, bro. And they all have to land crits. So look at this damage discrepancy here on all of these. This is damage percent orb versus defense percent orb. Now come down here. I did what about, because I already know you're going to ask this next, what about crit damage body versus defense percent body? So right here is going to be the regular one, 17.5. This is the exact same scenario as here, meaning we're doing a damage percent orb and a crit damage body. Now, what happens if we butcher the crit damage body and put in a defense percent orb, right? That's going to be the difference there. 16,000 damage versus 17.5. So you lose out on 1,500 damage on a basic attack. Again, I personally think that's a great trade. I'll trade 1,500 damage on a basic attack to have a whopping 700 more defense to give more shield to my party. I think that's a great trade, a fantastic trade. I'd make it in a heartbeat. Finally, what about if you say the crit damage body, off the imaginary orb, and we just go full blown big dick defense, right? Defense on the body, on the boot, on the spear, and then an energy recharge rope, which is, I think, is the best build. You're going to sacrifice 2,500 damage on the basic attack, and you're going to be doing 15,150. Now you could take this damage discrepancy here and apply it to the ult, and the follow-up attack is going to be the same percentage. I'm going to keep it a stack with you. I think this is 100% worth it. With that being said, now we can get into the relics. I think the best build for him is going to be defense here, defense here, defense here, energy recharge rope here. Now I'm dabbling with this because I already have a build made. So I will do the most damage technically with this build that I have on. But in terms of comfort, if I want to get some good defense, some good shield provided to my team, I'm telling you, defense, defense, defense. 100% with an ER rope. If the ER rope isn't doing its job, which is going to be hard to see it not, then you can go defense here too. But most characters, when they generate energy, they generate 20 from a basic attack and they generate 30 from a skill. And that's a lot of the characters in the game. That's it. You have to get hit to generate more. Aventurine can generate energy with his follow-up attack. I believe it is 1 energy per follow-up tick. He has 7 ticks. That means he should be able to regenerate 7 energy off a follow-up attack. So if you rock an ER rope on him, that 7 energy can turn into 8.3 if it's 19.4. And then that may not seem like a lot, but if he triggers 3 follow-up attacks in a cycle, plus a basic, plus a skill, it adds up to like an extra 13 energy, which could definitely close the gap on getting an ultimate up. That said, when he takes damage, when he gets hit, that will give you more energy back as well. It all adds up. Trust me, it makes some fat freaking difference. So I think ER rope is going to be a strong option for him. The sub stat wise, we're going to go for crit rate, crit damage, defense percent, and speed. Most importantly, speed. The beautiful thing about Ron May, she gives you 10 speed extra when you go into the battle. And if you're rocking a DDD on her, which is one of the best in slots, you can make your Aventurine go twice, even though he's rocking a defense percent boot. You have one job. Get your Aventurine to somewhere near 120 to 124 speed. You can even go like 118 speed actually. But if you have 120 to 124 speed Aventurine, your Ranmei is going to make him go twice when she pops her DDD. If you have 124 to 125 speed Aventurine, your Ranmei will make him go twice without even having on DDD. So attaching him to the hip of a Ranmei is very valuable just for him to rock a defense percent boot and still be able to go 2 times. I hope that makes sense. Now I want to show y'all the amount of sets he has available. You could go Pioneer, Diver of Dead Waters. You could go Messenger, Traversing Hacker to close that speed gap in case you don't have any good speed substat rolls. You can do this too. You can run Wastelander. You can run the defense set right here. This is also another strong option. And is there anything else that and the follow-up set. Yeah, so you can run every single one of these sets that I just listed. Pioneer, the Ash Blaze, Grand Duke, Messenger, Traversing, Wastelander, Knight of Purity Place. If you want the most tankiness, obviously you can go a 4-piece here, get a 20% boost to your shield. But the way I'm gonna spin it, whichever piece has got the best substats. People often, at times, most times actually, they overvalue full 4 sets versus the strongest substats. Pokey has mentioned this before, and I completely agree with them. Now, some characters like Blade needs his full HP set. There's some characters where their whole set is just too strong to ignore. In fact, the imaginary set's another strong example here. For somebody like Welt, bro's just way too strong with this imaginary set, right? I don't recommend going off of this set with the Welt. It's just too damn strong. This set right here, another one that's too strong if the person can actually make these what do you call it, prerequisite conditions apply consistently. So what I'm doing is I'm doing like a 2-piece imaginary with a 2-piece Pioneer of the Dead Water. But look, here's another option. Another option is going to be I can go over here and I can swap this. Right, I have good defense, crit rate, crit damage, effect resistance. Boom, that's nice. I can come over here to this. I got a little speed boot over here somewhere. Where's it at? Here it is. She's got it. Look at this one. Crit rate, crit damage. Might roll speed as a substat in that final one. But now we got 2-piece speed with 2-piece. Well, we can play around with that one. 2-piece imaginary, 2-piece pioneer. Those are options that you do have. 13 minutes. We're not doing too bad. For the relic piece inside of here, I'm gonna go Broken Kill or mix and match with the best substats. Broken Kill is a strong option. Lcone Land of the Dreams is a strong option if you're doing a full-blown mono composition. I could see this popping off as well. Sprightly Von Whack might be a solid option depending on what you're doing with Aventurine. If you want to go 3 times in the first turn, maybe, I don't know. It is an option. I can see it working. I think this is going to be the best damage dealing option. Inert Salsada gives you 8% crit rate, 15% to his follow-up and his ultimate, which is really nice. So this is another option. Other than that, you could Copium do this just for 15% defense. Other than that, I don't recommend this one. I'll be honest with you, because he doesn't build effect hit rate. Yeah, I would say, Pure Fiction. This is going to be a banger set for Pure Fiction. In fact, this is just the best set in the game for Pure Fiction, period, outside of Aventurine. So that's another one. But Broken Kill will be a very solid option, getting that extra 10% effect resistance, 10 crit damage given to the whole party. It's nice. Inert Salsada and Broken Kill are probably going to be my best 2 recommendations, but don't sleep on Lcone for the imaginary. Anyways, light cone wise, Japar. I actually am one of these people that thinks Japar's light cone is better than his damn signature light cone. Now, is it actually better than his signature light cone? No, of course not. The signature light cone is going to be best in slot for sure due to its value of inflicting a debuff that makes it more synergistic and universally valuable to compositions and characters who need that inflicted debuff, such as Acheron and Dr. Ratio. That's a strong inflict. The inflict in and of itself is better than everything else in the kit. But because Dr. Ratio's damage is so mid, the 40% defense and the 40% crit damage is the biggest pump fake. And the people who don't know the formulas of this game are going to get pump fake by it, thinking it's a good damage, selling point. Now, I've spoke about this at length already, but I'm going to say it one more time. The problem with Aventurine is his multipliers are dog shit. So even though the 40% crit damage and defense look good, his multipliers, it doesn't matter. Like if the 40% defense and the 40% crit damage was given to somebody with Imbibitor Lune multipliers, 500% on a fully charged basic attack, scaling off defense, that would be massive. But it's Aventurine's dog shit ass multipliers. Bro's doing 25% of his defense on the follow-up attack. 25%. 500%, 25%. You see what I'm saying? 100% on his basic attack, 270 on his ult. These are dog shit percentages. So the 40% defense and crit damage is a massive pump fake. You don't need to supplement substat. Oh, I put defense on my rope and now, no, I pick up his light cone and now I can put ER on my rope. You can just put ER on your rope anyways. He's gonna have plenty of defense. That shit is overkill. That said, done with my tangent. This light cone right here, 48% defense, second highest defense base stat in the entirety of the game. Aventurine's light cone's gonna top it. But this gives you so much. You do have to get hit for this to proc, but it comes with taunt value increase. So that means you're gonna get hit a lot. You know why you're gonna get hit a lot as well? Because the people you're gonna be using it with, Topaz and Dr. Ratio, are Hunt Path characters. Hunt Path characters have 75 taunt value. You know how many Preservation have? 150 taunt value, double the taunt value of the Hunt Path characters. So Preservation plus Hunt is a very strong synergy because they're more likely to get hit. Japar takes that 150 and bumps it up even higher. Do I know the actual number? No, because they didn't put it in the goddamn game. Dumb as shit. I don't know why. One of the most stupid things I've seen. Put the fucking taunt value on the light cone. Don't just let me sit here and guess at it like it's rocket science, bro. Anyways, his taunt value raises it up even further, increasing his chances of getting hit a lot. And him getting hit, he gets 2 stacks towards his follow-up, except 1. Whereas, you know, when everybody else gets hit, it's only 1 stack per person getting hit. You want him getting hit. 1, he's gonna build up his follow-up attack more, but he's also gonna get more energy recharge. With the ER rope, he's gonna get juiced. And then if he gets hit, his defensive shield is way more beefier. It's way more beefy. It's got that motherfucking ribeye steak beefiness. And it's gonna be a lot more harder to chim down. Most importantly, you're protecting your teammates from getting their shields dwindled down. So there's a lot of benefit with taunt value. That said, that's why this light cone is really gonna be good on him. Now, if you don't have it, first of all, you can buy it for free in the shop if you save up enough currency, or if you lose 50/50s, chances are day one players already got about 85 copies of it. I know I do, even on my free-to-play account. I got fucking 2 copies of this on my free-to-play account, which is insane, because I don't even have that on this account. Anyways, Landau's Choice will do the same thing I just mentioned with you in terms of taunt value. I don't know if it gives the same here. Again, they just don't even like mention it. It's so annoying. This is a good free-to-play option. 1, the effect resistance. 2, if you're trying to go for damage, this is actually going to be solid. Now, its defense isn't worth a quarter. It's only like 496, I believe, but that's an option. This, if you really want the most tankiness for your team's survivability, do not sleep on this. This is so good. This is so good. Now, I do have it at S5, right? So, but the defense in this is very powerful for your team. It actually makes them very tanky. I don't recommend this. He's not building any effect hit rate in his kit. So you put this on him, he's gonna miss a lot of the actual triggers. So if you're trying to like run this play with Acheron, the difference between him and like Japar or the Fire MC, you're actually gonna build effect hit rate on them because it helps with their kit. It helps him freeze, it helps the Fire MC taunt. There's nothing in Aventurine's kit that incentivizes him to build effect hit rate. So if you put this on him, good luck. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But he has a ton of options. People can use it. It is usable, but he has a ton of options, which is also the reason why you just don't need the damn signature light cone. The 10% increase in received damage, that ain't shit these days. Ron May's shitting on that with all of her buffs. Sparkle's shitting on it. Pella's shitting on it. Like, bro, it's not that good. I'll be honest with you guys. I know the multipliers. I can just literally punch it in. That's what I'm gonna recommend. Traces, you can watch somebody else's guide on that shit. I'm gonna be striving for, yeah, somewhere around here, 170 crit damage if you're rocking defense. I believe I am, right? Oh no, I'm not. Never mind. If you're not rocking defense, then you need to be pushing towards 200% crit damage. Try and get there. Try. That's a goal. If you are rocking defense, just knock this off down to 120. You should have about 120 crit damage, and you should be as close as possible to 100% crit rate. Seeing that at 4,000 defense, he gives you a free ass 48% crit chance, plus another 5 from his base, plus 8% from inert. You should be able to get at least 30% crit rate across 6 relic pieces. Yeah, you should be able to get pretty close to 100% crit rate. That said, 20 minutes. We yapped. Am I missing anything else? No. I hope you guys learned something fun and interesting and insightful from this video. As always, thanks for watching. Of course, I'll be dropping showcases when he releases. I always put my money where my mouth is. Peace, love, and happiness, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side.